Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Ashley K. Small. I'm
I'm
Dr.
Jen
Ashley K. Smalls. One day I'm gonna.
I'm Jen Katz.
And I'm Zachary Patton Garcia, and we are here to talk The Vampire Lestat Season 1 or Interview the Vampire Season 3.
Yeah, when you look
Depends
at
on how you look at it.
yeah, I love this season. What it was everyone's like overall.
Oh, great recording. We're done now.
Yeah, there we go. We're done.
Cut, print, podcast over.
I had a little bit of reservation going into this, but I love Sam Reed's Lestat so much that I was like, well, I know I'm gonna at least want to fuck him, so there's at least that. And he is so goddamn hot as Lestat. And then
Ridiculous.
I was worried because have y'all seen Queen of the Damned?
Yes.
Sure have.
I love that movie.
Oh, no,
I knew you were gonna say that, Zach.
So we found the one person.
I know.
We found the one person.
If there's a horror movie that I'm gonna say is not good, Zach is going to say
It's so fun. It also was the age that I saw it. I was probably like 8 years old, so that was like amazing to me, right? Aaliyah was just, was blown away.
Because Aaliyah and Stuart Townsend were very hot, but that is all
That's
I can
literally
say for that movie. Yeah.
The only reason to watch it is just that's it.
Yeah.
They both look hot, and then that's the end of where the movie isn't enjoyable. So that's another reason why, because the plot. I remember like seeing that movie and being like, well, this can't be the plot of the book. And it was when I looked it up.
So because me and my husband are like have been reacting to it as the episodes are dropping, and we're because we haven't read the book, so we're comparing everything to the Queen of the Damned. Well, when is he gonna have that big concert that everybody attacks him at? You know,
Right.
So
that's my only reference.
I mean, that's totally fair, but like I think I was just expecting, I don't know, something stupid like what they do in Queen of the Damned, and I was glad that it was not. Ashley, what'd you think overall? What did you think going into the season versus how you felt?
Definitely have my reservations because it's like you have to. First of all, I love the first two seasons, and I do still enjoy the first two seasons more than this one. But to give it grace, I was like, all right, but the whole point is that it is technically a new show. It's like it's season 3 of a story that we've been following, but it's season 1 of a character story that we're now get to follow in terms of his voice. Because the whole point of this is that we're getting these unreliable narrators, and we've been hearing from the same narrator the first 2 seasons. And so they technically would have done a poor job if they had followed the same voice of Louis, but, given it to Lestat. So it's like in that vein, I think it was great. And then at a certain point, I started to have fun with it. I will just say now, I have my reservations when it comes down to the last episode. And that has more to do with, I think, some of the decisions that were made because they no longer really have any Black writers in the writer room anymore. And I think they made that decision since there was a white protagonist this time. And I think because of that, there are some things that went under the radar that I feel like, not to put them on a pedestal for the first 2 seasons in terms of how they treated race, but like, there's just some things I think would have been caught beforehand. Other than that, though, I do feel like the new voice, once I like had to let go of, you're not hearing from Louis anymore, you gotta let it go. Like it's Lestat's time. Then it was more like, it's a dysfunctional show because, well, goddamn it, we're following Lestat. Like it can't really be anything else other than that.
I feel like Zach and Alistair got me into it when I went to visit them. I remember you both being like, no, you're gonna love it. And I was like, I don't know. They're so toxic. I don't know. And then like catch me weeping when they're fighting in fucking space and bleeding and screaming they love each other. And I'm like, I want them to be together. So like, I don't know. The two of them have such wild chemistry that it is also impressive that I can still love the show like season 2 when Lestat really isn't there. And this season when Louis is much more of a side character, still there, but not as present. And it's wild that the show can like continually change. Like,
well,
like
the actors have like such great chemistry just on their own, not even in character, right? Like I watched the Vampire Lestat After Dark shows, and there's them sitting next to each other. You know, I feel like sizzles on my skin because
I feel like
so
one of
together.
the like annoying heated rivalry girls online where I'm like, ooh, I want them to kiss in real life. Zach.
I had a lot more faith going into this one because I was like, those first 2 seasons are so great. And I don't usually follow like behind the scenes production stuff because I don't want it to taint what I'm going to go into the season with. And so I didn't realize, that they'd even changed up the writer's room. And so going into the season, I had a lot of faith in it because I'm like, love those first 2 seasons. I feel like they're doing source material really great. As somebody who's never read the book again, so like I'm talking out of my ass.
The books are insane. Like the books
and I want to read them, but I just where's the Tom? And so eventually I will. But I don't know. It just I get it. I get the perspective change. I get that Lestat is withholding a lot more than Louis was like willing to give, and so we don't get as many flashbacks, as long of flashbacks. I'm sure there's like budgetary restrictions to that, but like, man, the lack of flashbacks really did a number on this show. I loved the season just because I love the show, I think, but I think had this been the first season, I don't think I'd have liked it as much.
Oh, all right, Jen.
Well, I want to start off by saying I want to ask for preemptive amends for any harm I may cause anyone in the recording of this podcast. No, I mean, I love this series. I loved this season. Not perfect. I have a lot of notes. I'm looking at you, Gabriella, but I think it's such an interesting continuation of the idea of perspective and reliable narrators. And while watching season 1 and 2, yes, I loved Lestat. He's chaos. He's insane. Sam Reed is amazing. But he's the villain to Louis and Claudia a lot of the time, and there's the back and forth and all that. And then we're getting this, and you fall in love with Louis as the gentle, he's tortured, he's a victim, and he is in a lot of ways. But when we get to this season, well, Lestat's getting to do what we would all love to do, which is, well, hold on, I might have been the villain in your story, but let me tell you how it is over here. And I loved that. It was very jarring. I loved the first episode, but like what you guys were saying, a friend of mine was like, I don't know if I can do this. This is wildly different. It's all over the place. And I said, hang in there. Got through episode 2 and she loved it. But yeah, I thought it was Sam Reed. He alone.
He's the evil Ilya Rozanov that I like need in my life. I'm like,
yes.
In some other world, this is Ilya from Heated Rivalry. Jen, I also, not to blow up your spot, but like you had a finale party.
I did. Yes. So a couple friends of mine, we have a group chat that we call ourselves the Finer Things, which is just AKA we like to get drunk on champagne and watch our favorite shows. Yeah. And we made a punch called Punch of the Damned, which was like 2 bottles of champagne, a bottle of red wine, pomegranate juice. We did the palm because, Sam Reed as Lestat did the pomegranate juice ads. And we had a blast. I mean, the last episode, I think I'm a little concerned that there hasn't been a season 4 announced because as a series finale episode, I don't know if it fully works.
Yeah.
It's kind of all over the place, but we had a really good time watching it. And I loved the first 2 seasons. I love New Orleans. And so that adaptive change of, it's in New Orleans in the books, but New Orleans in a more modern era, Louis as a man of color. I like was obsessed with the first season. I have a tattoo that says Mon Cher because I could listen to Sam Reed say that to Jacob Anderson all day. But yeah, I mean, I think this is, I'm excited to talk about it. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No. Ashley, when Jen showed me her tattoo, I was like, I like that could second as a Gambit tattoo.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Hands up. So I am like the opposite of y'all because I am a dum-dum. I'm usually a hard sell on a period piece. I don't know what it is about my dumb brain, but like, the moment something is set pre-technology, I'm like, ugh.
Why? God. What is the thing?
And I don't know. Like, that was a reason why a lot of fantasy doesn't appeal to me because it's like, not that it's reality. I know that it's not real. There's stupid people that think all this shit's real, but because it's set in an era where people speak a certain way and like, I don't know why, but like my brain clocks out so easily with that. So it was really impressive that I did not clock out those first 2, like I loved it so much. So it being in modern times, I was like, all right, I can vibe with this. Like that is immediately more comfortable for me when it's set in modern times. I like that they were able to, and I was curious what you thought, Zach, because I know when we like cover stuff, sometimes the use of technology doesn't always like.
This is like real world technology, though. This isn't like death by iPhone. You know, it's very different, right? Like I love seeing Beyonce pop up on his iPad. You know, like I think that shit is so like real world funny because it does make us relate a lot more. Yeah, and this show is set in the modern day, and so it makes sense. Like all the technology in it is fun.
So like that, I think, and I've loved every season. I think I loved this season more than the other two, but I thought the finale was the worst finale so far. I still loved it, but I thought the other finales were way
Felt
better.
very mid-season. Like there should be a second half to this season.
Like I was like, wait, that's the finale. Like I also don't love a cliffhanger as a.
I don't either.
And like I was waiting for her to appear the whole time, and it's like she didn't. And then we get a glimpse of like her destruction. And my concern is when we set in modern times, and it's people don't know about vampires. That I like, but once it's like, well, now if I don't know where they're gonna go with like she's leveled all of New Orleans, so like.
So tell me if I'm wrong, or like I guess inform me, because my sort of guess was because they kept talking about this big concert in the woods with all these like 50,000 vampires going to show up, right? And I figured there was going to be either a big battle royale or she was going to wake up because she hears him playing or something like that, and that's how she sort of enters the picture. Is that how that goes in the books? Or okay.
I didn't read the book, but I've like read it. When I worked at Barnes and Noble, I would like skim through it because that's how I learned it was the real plot of the movie. I don't know. It felt weird that he kept mentioning her, and we only got really I think 2 scenes with her.
I think
right?
that was perfectly. That was it. That was all we needed for this season because I think it has, or at least for me, has built up so much anticipation for the next one that like they better get fucking greenlit for a season 4, right? I think they used her just the perfect amount.
I mean, I was assuming, I'm like, okay, are they gonna give Lestat? I don't know if we are gonna get like a Queen of the Damned season. You know, I mean, because at this point, it's like we know we're not sticking with the same characters. Like, given the voice of the show, it's like, all right, they follow Louis, they're following Lestat. Like, is it possible? Even I would have still liked a little bit more of her, but also was like, is it that they're giving us this? They have to, of course, give us the beginning since we done heard I have the blood of Akashi in me like 1,200 times now. So it's like, like let us know how that came to be. But also it was like, okay, are they trying to be reserved so that they don't give us too much that they can't build something out of her or something like that? But to Jen's point, I'm like also nervous because I'm like, look, I really hate when some shows overestimate how long they're going to be able to stick around.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then the rug gets pulled under us. And then it's like, well, you had an opportunity to give us more of her story before, I wouldn't say I believe that AMC will, but just because like it's one of their more popular shows.
Yeah.
But at the same point, one of the recurring like things that's said about Interview with the Vampire is that it's a show everybody watches and yet nobody watches. Cause it's like when you meet people who watch it, like, it's like, but then it's also like, I feel like in a general audience standpoint, it needs more viewers. And then in terms of the world that they've tried to build around it as well, it's like for example, Telemasca, which they kind of touched on this season, got canceled after 1 season. So now those characters are kind of being brought into the actual, Vampire Lestat show, but it's like, let's not overestimate everyone's interest in this when they don't tune in for anything else. But that being said, Mayfair Witches is still on. So as long as that one is on, it's
is it? See, I wasn't even sure about that because I didn't watch it. So
I've heard nothing but bad things about that show.
I'm shocked that it got such a quick renewal for season 3 because it is compared to Interview, while not perfect, that show is a hot mess.
It was a mess from season 1. I never watched it again. I'm like, absolutely not. You will never waste my time like this again. You will never waste my time like this again.
Was the witch we met this season, was she in that show or just
no?
Oh, okay.
She was great. I loved her. I was like, please put her in Mayfair Witches because the people they have over there are terrible. Right now I think they're doing a panel at San Diego Comic-Con, so I'm hoping we get an announcement this weekend because Ashley, it's like that's going to it won't ruin the season for me, but it'll really like just be kind of like, if that's how this amazing show has ended, because it's not like if it were me, I would have ended with Akasha at the end of the season because
yes, I wanted to see her. Yes.
That can be ambiguous. You can end it like that and like, oh shit, she woke up. What's going to happen? And we can do the whole scene that was in the show because Sheila Atom is amazing. Yeah. But to see the destruction after the fact, and now we're like, wait, what happened? It's too loose. And I would have used her a little bit more, one, because she's so good, but also, like you guys said, how many times do we have to hear, I have the blood of Akasha in me? It's like,
not enough.
Okay, let's get more Akasha.
Jen, you just like nailed exactly what was bothering me about it, because I think that was it. It's like, well, now we've already seen what she's done, but like, we've already seen, like, it should have been, give me her and all her like Aaliyah glory, whatever cool fucking outfit they're gonna put her in when she like arises. At least a glimpse of that. So like you said, even if it's the last thing we see, it's like, oh shit, it did wake up the biggest bad and she fucking ruined all the shit. Okay, if that has to be the end. But like, if the end is just he sees a bunch of houses destroyed, I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, and your casual viewer, how is your casual viewer following that, right? Because you're supposed to think back to the first episode and Louis entering the way he enters, and like it doesn't connect well enough for me. Yes.
Tell your dumbass casual viewer friend. What do you mean? In the first episode of the first season?
No, this season.
Oh, this
everybody entering for this auction, then we're supposed to connect it right to the end.
I didn't just realize. I'm like, we're all speaking because we know who's responsible for that destruction, but I know about it outside of this show, and I am just for the first time thinking about if I just randomly needed something to watch and turn this on, and then that was the last scene, I'd be upset.
The connective tissue is not there. It's there, but it's just not. It's not strong enough. And to your point earlier, Ashley, is like the show that everybody watches and nobody watches. I haven't seen anybody talking about the show except for Akasha, except for that monologue. That's what I've been seeing go viral. But all the other moments, I'm like, damn, like that worries me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and in every like interview recently with Roland Jones, the creator, he keeps mentioning, we had budget issues. So it makes me concerned that AMC they put a lot of money into the marketing this season compared to the other two, which is a whole other conversation to be had for sure. But yeah, if AMC is not giving them the budget to do the show they want to do now, and if they don't perform what they wanted, I'm like, yeah, it's a little concerning. But maybe when we end the recording, we'll get on the internet.
We'll get something. Yeah, maybe it'll come up right at the top. With the book series, because I know there's quite a few books. Could Queen of the Damned be like the end of all of this if they decided to do Queen of the Damned and say, okay, it's done after that, and then 4 seasons and that's all?
There's stories past Akasha's death.
Aren't we like reversing it almost, Ashley?
Yeah.
Is it like this season one of the other books that's after?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, but Vampire Lestat comes.
That was one of her last books, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there's the Vampire Lestat, then the Queen of the Damned, Tales of the Body Thief. There's so many. She had a lot. I can't remember. Is she in anything after Queen of the Damned? I can't. Yeah, I'd have to look. It's been a while.
Well, so because I worked at fucking Barnes and Noble, and this is always a problem with book series that don't have numbers. No one ever fucking knows. I've been listening to the Murderbot series. And anytime I tell someone about them, I'm like, wait, what's the first book? Because they all have different names. And I'm like, just put a fucking number. But it's very common book series don't. So customers were always like, what's the order? Here we go. I looked up.
Well, we live in the internet age. Look it up on your phone.
So the last book on the series was A Tale of Prince Lestat. That was what I was thinking of. That came out in 2018. The one before that was Prince Lestat and the Realms of Atlantis. I don't even fucking remember that one.
Atlantis?
Yes, Atlantis.
She was in old age at this point. Leave her be with her stories.
Was this after she was born again? Didn't she go through a phase where she was like a born again Christian?
She did, but then she reversed it.
Okay.
Like I know because when I worked for this site called Geeks Out. It was like a very like smaller. They're like bigger now, but at the time, like our blogs would get like 200 views, right? One of our writers wrote a review of pick whatever Anne Rice book that had come out when I was writing for them. She actually emailed that writer to say how much she loved his review, and they became like, It wasn't just a glowing review. It was like, I didn't like this, I did like this, and she loved it. And she emailed him and they became friends. Like they would
Oh, that's
email back and
cool.
forth and she would be like, oh, send me your writing. Like, I really want to read your stuff. And like, yeah, she was like, and he was like, she's great. I can't believe that like I'm emailing with Anne Rice, which is insane, right? Like,
Yes.
and apparently that wasn't uncommon. Like she would do that if she liked what someone wrote about her stuff. And he told me that she even was like, I really liked your critique of this part. I thought you were right. So
Okay. Yeah. So
couldn't be me. But yeah, no, there are 13 books.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have, oh yeah. I think Memnoch the Devil is the one that went out of print when I was at Barnes & Noble, I think.
But Queen of the Dam comes after Vampire Lestat,
Yep,
so
yep. So I was wrong, yeah.
I wonder if they're holding out to then do. Let me not say that because for all I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's only
Let me
book
not.
3. I thought that one was, in my head, that one was much later, but that Queen of the Damned is book 3.
Well,
And then
True
there's
Blood got
13
7
books.
seasons.
That is true. And that book,
So-
that book
Roland
series.
Jones says he wants to do all of Queen of the Damned and then get into the Tales of the Body Thief, is what he has said recently.
All right,
So
well, he needs. Let me shut up.
Hands up, I've only read the first one, Interview with a Vampire, and I didn't love it that much back in the day.
No.
Like I was texting my friend Kirsten White, and I was like, I think you would love the series, and she was like, I don't have the nostalgia for the book. Like I don't think I was the right age when I read it. And I was like, no. To be fair, I read it as a teen and I did not like it, but I love the series. Like the book, it's like subtext on subtext and like not explicitly queer. And I just remember that annoying me so much because it was like, these are faggots. Please just let them be gay. Like, just why are we dancing? It was like Xavier and Magneto, where it's like, no, they're really close friends, and it's like these guys are gay. Like, what are we doing? And that always like really pissed me off.
Well,
Because
it's
in
so,
books, you can get it
yeah.
easier. Like
History will say they were just good friends.
So the thing I wanna of my notes, I want to talk about Gabriella and Lestat.
God damn. I could have done without the entirety of it. It was so fucking stupid, and I don't care if there was any bigger meaning that I just missed. But I saw the incest of it all, and I think it was unnecessary.
And I say
we could
that
have used more gay.
A lot of House of the Dragon. So when you even me out with incest, like do you understand? Like this is, and I think it was just the unnecessary of this. Okay, all right, not to get into like a House of the Dragon thing, but at least like
we can. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm rocking with you.
You know, the two main characters, House of the Dragon, who are related. It's like, bro, you need Damon. Like you need a killer. You know, you need some like this makes sense. You're a woman. They don't want a woman on a throne. You need to get the most badass motherfucking Targaryen that you can. And if you gotta lay that shit down, so be it. Whatever. Then here it's like I'm expecting the fact that like he fucks his mom to like lead to some sort of like this is the reason or this is why or this is no. It's just like
well, I think
the Louis all the time anymore. So I guess
it's so unnecessary. Like you guys were saying, it's so weird. What I'm about to say is like insane. There are times when yes, you root for incest in a story, and it works. House of the Dragon, everything you said, Ashley, like cosign. This was so unnecessary, and in the book, there's hints, there's like weird lingering kisses, but there's nothing explicit as far as I remember.
I was gonna ask that. Yeah,
this doesn't serve the story as an adaptive change. Adapting the story to put it in the early 1900s to make Louis a man of color, like that's an adaptation that serves the story, that works. This literally did nothing but make everybody uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think it served to like show how fucked up Lestat's like before Louis even, that he was like, he has been fucked up his entire life. Like even when he was a kid, his mom was like kind of liked him more than the others, but she wasn't like a good mom even when they were human. Like she would be like, oh, you're all being annoying, and then they'd like call Lestat a faggot and she'd be like and still keep like she didn't care. She wasn't it's not like she was this like wonderful mother. So I think it was just to show like every relationship he has always been fucked up. He has never had a like remotely good normal relationship. And I think the like fact that his mother was one of the people he was fucking shows you more how fucked up he is. And that's kind of what I thought. The thing that bothered me most was that Gabriella often sounded like the cow from Sesame Street.
Okay, well, we can get into that soon, I guess, because there's the entire abuse of it all is what I read into it, and I accept that. I love that. I think that is great to add to his character. Everything that you were saying, like he wanted so much from her, wanted her to just be his mother, right? And when she wouldn't, he's like, well, let me try being your lover, and maybe being your lover will, that gets more of your attention for me from, than being your son. And so I get it, but we don't need to see them fucking all the time. The implication can be there. The conversation about it could be there. And I thought he was going to rip her head off by the end, maybe get so fed up, but nothing happened with it. He wakes up and she's on the tour bus and she ends it with him, basically holding hands with him, and then that's it. Like, there wasn't really any. So then why did we have to watch all of that? Why did we have to watch it episode to episode to episode if it wasn't leading to any sort of like catharsis or something?
Yeah.
The scene after the wolves, like, they didn't do anything, but it very much like we
I thought they were going to,
exactly, like picked up on, all right, so she is sexually abusing her son, or is going to take the first opportunity that she can to do so. This gives us a bit of Lestat's psyche. Like, if you are, I feel like in every vampire story kind of shows, and in this season, they even did this a bit with Nikki, where like if your mind is one thing before your turn, when you are turned, like your mind is going to kind of still, so it's like it started to allude a bit, and we didn't have to see it to get that hint.
Yeah.
And then it just went off the deep end from there. And I just like, I guess to Zach's point as well, of like, it would be one thing, especially after Louis found out about it, if he had started to put two and two together of like, your mother took advantage of you, and it's one of the reasons why you are the way you are. And I'm like, even if it's not going to lead to you, chopping her head off, at the very least, banishing her from your life.
Yeah.
Blocking her number at the
something.
Desperately tried to, at the end, do like a whole like mirror of like the way he treated Claudia to his treatment from his own mother. And it was like,
but his treatment of Claudia was better than the way his mom treated him.
That's why I was like, I can see the abuse aspect a bit. Like, of course, that
right.
Media studies will show you like that will affect how you treat your own children. But it was also like, but the level of abuse, and then also the fact that the abuse was sexual, like, it's like, I feel like y'all are trying to put a neat bow on. See, she wasn't a complete waste of the character here. And it's like,
well, even with the abuse by his maker, right? They masked that with an entire music video. So
I did have to text Zach to be like, I couldn't tell, was that rape or was he just like laying on him? And I'm dumb. I like genuinely was not clear on that, because I was like, oh, he's upset because he's gonna get bit. I didn't realize. I mean, that's on me. That's on me not realizing it.
But well, no, it's. I don't think I don't think they were as careful as they could have been with some of these lines. And I will say, in terms of the Magnus, at least we get Lestat at the end saying, I did not, he's calling him out. Like, I did not consent, basically. With Gabriella, and I have to say, like, I love Jennifer Eel. I think she's great in other things, but I think that's part of what doesn't land is the accent work, her styling, the way she played this character. You had nothing to really, in my opinion, root for.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And in the books, they make her much more complicated. She's a woman of circumstance. She's married to this guy. She can't do anything. She buries herself in her books. And then when she becomes a vampire, she loves it. But she also she's more androgynous. She wants to, maybe even non-binary is what some people have said online, like the way she styles herself, the way she wants to present. And to take that character and then do this, it didn't land at all. And then I think if they would have, I hate to say, like, leaned in more to Lestat or Louis being like pointing out, hey, this was abusive.
Yeah.
that could have helped me like digest it more. But I don't think they were very careful with how they handled that storyline.
I think you're right. Because I mean, you and I even texted about the scene. Like, I felt bad for Lestat when Louis was like, "What do you mean you're fucking your mother?" and like leaves. I was like, "No, but don't be upset with him." Like, I was like, "How am I feeling bad for the character that was fucking his mother and has murdered so many people?"
Because you should feel bad for him. Like, there's much to feel bad for, right? But like, and also there's just so much of them. Like, isn't he making an album about his entire fucking life and like all the shit that happens in his life? There's so much more to that than his mother. But we saw his mother in every fucking episode, and we didn't devote any more time to other things that have been referenced. And
I think Jen's right. If she had been slightly more complicated, it would have been like, okay, like we get a little bit, like I said, we got a little bit of like, yeah, she was miserable with her family, and I love the scene where they kill the family. I like text Zach, I was like, I fucking love this.
Yeah, that's
like,
great.
I thought it was cool and like a moment of unity. Like they are a united front, but then it led to them fucking, which like it would have been better if it was like they are like, I don't know, like almost like partners in crime where it's like, give me like a mother son, horror duo, sure. But then the like fucking of it all. I just didn't like her character. I didn't care about the incest because I chalked that up to we are vampires. We murder people, we fuck, and that's
you never gonna catch me as an incestuous vampire ever. That's never gonna happen.
I'm not saying I think any of us would be. I'm just saying, like, I was just like, whatever, sure. I don't know. But her styling, her accent, the wig, none of it really worked for me. Ooh, the wig.
The wig is bad. That's like MLM Karen wig, and
they don't normally bother me, but this really, but like MCU people get mad, and I'm like, whatever, it's a superhero hair. This, I was like, ooh, that wig. Ooh.
Especially when your son's hair was probably like the best that he's had of and so it's like, and I love that because I liked the fact that like we're now in the 2020s, so it's it was 2020s, right? All right, so like it kind of shows like you could get yourself a good lace wig, not like the way you could back in, so it's like, all right, I love this, and instead your mom got a bob.
Why?
Bob, just like I'm like it looked so bad. Her clothes were so basic. The accent, it felt like she had marbles in her mouth. And I'm just like, and this is the bad bitch that was supposed to have birthed Lestat. It's crazy.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of, is it the Count in What We Do in the Shadows? Isn't that his name? Doug Jones's character? When he's like, I want to blood. And it's like so cartoony Dracula. That's
so bad.
Hers felt like. Anyway, moving on to other characters.
Okay.
So let's talk about the Armand of it all. Let's start our Armands, Jen. And
I do love him.
I fucking hate that twink. I was like, oh, I want him dead. I like every time we saw him, it was that meme of like, I want that twink obliterated. That's all I could think of because I fucking hate him. But I loved the scene of the flashback because we got so few flashbacks where they're fucking watching the other guy that Lestat turns.
Oh, Nikki.
And
Nikki. Sweet Nikki.
His mom is being a dick, and I forget what she's like, I hate this, I want to leave, blah, blah, blah. And Lestat's annoyed that his mom is being so, like, almost, like, contrarian. And Armand is like, I love you, Lestat. And Lestat goes, oh, Christ. That was, like, maybe one of my favorite moments.
Is he like, there's not enough room in this box for your desperation?
Yes. I was like, fuck.
So good.
But Armand, I'm not sure if I hate him just because he's like the villain to hate. I don't know that I feel like we're not quite given enough with him. Like, I don't fully understand. Is it because did he love both these vampire men and it's like a fucked up vampire love? Did he always hate both of them? Did he just always hate Louis? Like, I think
he loved both of them, and then it made him even worse that he probably loved one of them more than the other, but then it made it worse that they got together and he just can't take it, and he's like, I think he's just a love addict, right?
I think I always got the thing that like he hates how much they both love each other, and like it gives, he wishes he could be in the throuple a bit to me. It's like And I say that because it's like, seeing that scene of him in the box with Lestat, and it's like, and if you watch the after show as well, Mon's actor talks about how, because we technically got that scene in season 2, but obviously it was from a different perspective, and then we get Lestat's, and Armand's actor was saying how like he feels like Lestat's is probably the more accurate, and I was like, it does give you more Lestat than what we were seeing, where Lestat like is more giving Armand what he wants. And it's like, I would see Lestat more so being like, oh my God, I fucked you one time. My God. Like, get me out of here. Like it seems more like him. And in comparison to that, or I should say contrast, we have the way that Lestat interacts with Louis. And it is more that forlonging. I mean, we saw Lestat asking for dick from Louis when Louis was literally trying to bury his brother. He didn't give a fuck. He was like, I need it bad. So it's like, put into perspective of Armand of you're like literally lingering for this man, and here's another guy who gets him so easily, and then you want to know what's so good about him, and now you're wanting for him too. And in the end of the day, they can kind of throw you away very easily, whereas they always come back to each other no matter. I mean, we know that Lestat has literally thrown Louis from the fucking sky.
They've killed each other 10 times. Yeah.
And they always come back to each other. And then there's you, where it's like, yeah, I can go 100 years without seeing you. Like,
I mean, if my husband and I broke up and my husband went and got with one of my exes, I would be exactly like Armand, right? I would be plotting and scheming. I might not be as level-headed about it. He's very calm. Armand
is decapitating people. I'm not sure how calm that is, but sure, yeah.
But in a graceful way.
Yeah.
He can keep himself together. He can walk straight.
Zach, I was gonna say I would just play with my friends.
I would be fucking insane. I would be absolutely insane. And I think Armand is just. I fucking couldn't stand his ass in the second season. Going into this season, seeing him, I also hated him. But we ended the season, and I don't know if this is a little bit of now I've seen the actor talking about him on the, After Darks, and maybe that's, merged a little bit with my opinion of Armand. But I don't know, he's real good to watch. He's real fun to watch. And he is the kind of villain, because I was worried they were going to give him some sort of redemption arc this season, and I'm glad they're not going to. And they're not really they're just no, he's kind of petty and wants to do as much harm as he can, and I appreciate a villain like that.
I do too, but I think Armand has no personality. I feel like I think
that's part of his problem in the story too.
Sure, yeah, no, but I mean even when we are watching the character, I can't have a character be flat and be this calculating, diabolical. I needed a little bit more. Because again, to your point, Zach, if you and Kim became best friends and ditched me, I would be just as insane.
I don't know. I disagree then, because the personality itself is in the no personality, and it's kind of everybody Armand, of course we're not going to be with you because you're so fucking boring. Why would we be? Why would I be in love with you I'm in love with Louis? Because I don't know. That just does it just for me. Well,
I think it's. Yeah, I think we see, we talk about Lestat and his response to his own abuse in his life, and Armand's. And I think those are two, realistic. They're vampires, but those are ways people do respond to abuse and trauma. They allude to it in the last episode where Louis is you were 12 years old, you were sold. I mean, it's I think Armand went through some shit, and he took it and became very petty and calculating and wants to see the world burn when he doesn't get what he wants. Whereas Lestat is tripping and spiraling and having sex with his mom and in that chaotic kind of way. And I think,
as what happens,
as you do,
as one does, exactly, but I love Assad Zaman as Armand. He is watching him with his little half up bun and the high waisted pants and the, I guess, butcher shop, wherever they were, talking to, Jacob Anderson's decapitated head. I was yeah, okay. I could watch 2 hours of this. I love him. I think, and like you're saying, Zach, I think my love for the actor bleeds in because I've watched a lot of his interviews and everything, and he just seems so lovely. But I like that. Yeah, I like that he's not, I thought he was going to be going for the great conversion. He's got a mission. He's doing something. No, he's just fucking pissed and petty.
It's so petty. And he's too old and too rich to be like that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's crazy to see a vampire like this, acting like this. But it's also it's very, very, very relatable, right? The self-destruction of it all. And to your point about his abuse, it's I think that has made him have this like desperate need to make sure that he is maneuvering the relationships that he has and is in control of how those go, right? He like, it's that limerence thing, right? He has all of that in his head and he wants to make sure it like plays out like it's playing in his head. And it doesn't, because you can't really control people like that.
I did appreciate that they did a little bit of humanizing of like background, but didn't make it so it's like, well, now he's good. Like, we've shown what happened. We've like talked about what happened to him. We're saying that was bad, but we're not like, oh, now he's good. Like, I really appreciated that because I was a little worried. And I did feel like when they said it out loud, it was like, oof, yeah, like he was fucking 12, like Jesus. But I still hate him, right? It's like I can hold two things true. Like, ooh, that was a terrible thing. I fucking hate this character. And I like that. I like when we don't need to be like, now you will feel bad for this character and we make them sympathetic and do all that shit.
He's old enough and done a lot of shit that we are able to hate him.
Right.
Very easily.
Also want to talk about Daniel Malloy. I did not buy them together.
Are they supposed to be? Is that supposed to be a thing? Like a real thing?
He says it explicitly, yeah.
A lot of fans, based off what happens in the books, they ship them.
Oh.
For me, I loved Eric Bogosian in seasons 1 and 2 as the like crusty journalist. Yes. Great. The Vampire Bourdain, as they call him in one episode. It doesn't really work for me either. Him and Gabriella are the two characters I really struggled with. I don't buy, like, when Armand tells him, you know, it was the fog of love. I'm like, was it?
Yeah.
Maybe you're fucking with us, but I don't know how they're going to make that work if they go down that route. But yeah, that's, I don't know about all that. I don't know.
Jen, that's exactly what my issue was, is I did like him as this, like, oh, I'm constantly annoyed. You guys are constantly fucking with everything I'm doing. I'm just trying to do this fucking interview. Can we do the thing? Oh, wait, you're all gonna lie. Oh, you're all gonna fuck. You're gonna get mad at each other. I like that. Once he became a vampire, and I don't know. It seemed like, okay, this season, he still was playing that character, but then also we had like, no, but really he was behind and I didn't like that. Like,
no.
I think they shouldn't have turned him into a vampire.
I don't think so. I know that's what they do in the books, but it just, that kind of, I don't know. Maybe they can write that ship in the next season, but if there is one, but yeah, I don't. When he at the last episode where he bares his fangs at Raglan James in the bowling alley, I don't know if we were supposed to be like scared, but I was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe like kind of, didn't work.
The Vampire Bourdain, that is good.
That was hysterical.
I spent all of season 1 being like, where do I know this guy from? And I realized because I was thinking he was Anthony, like in my head, it was Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah. I mean, I did text you this too, the Lestat saying, what's with the tan, Dan? Like that is a vocal. I just say that on repeat to everyone now.
Well, and I think for me, the way Daniel came into the first 2 seasons as a character with a very clear grudge about not getting turned when he wanted to be turned and is now an old man, and everything in life happened to him the way he thought it was going to happen. And like now he's old and can't be turned now, but then he, obviously does. I feel like that was very clear in the way he was interviewing Louis. And this season, he's also got a chip, but like, I feel like the chip is coming from a couple different places and it's not clear enough.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I'm like, you're holding on to this grudge just because he like froze that like part of the interview. Like that seemed to have been like but like chop someone's head off worthy.
I guess so, right? I maybe would have gotten more petty over the two of them right in front of me making fun of me every time I'm like talking to them, but
like, or to even drive in the point of, we know that he didn't want to be turned into a vampire at this point in his life, and here are these vampires who do get to enjoy their youth and get to do these things, the way you would like, the way you kind of think to yourself, if I was a vampire, how it would. I could see that sort of animosity growing and growing and growing until it gets to a point of, I'll sign up for any plan that gets him out of here. But like, it just was so focused on that one scene. I was like, I don't know. I would be both upset I didn't get the interview and also like, God damn, like at what point of vampirism do I get those powers? Because I hate that.
I still don't quite understand that aspect of it.
The powers?
Because, like I don't quite, he has nothing, right?
Is Daniel he supposed to level up?
I mean, allegedly, and I don't know, there's lots of theories and it's been a while since I've read the books, but like, Armand can daywalk, quote unquote. a lot of people think it's just like mind manipulation. So now he's teaching Daniel that he can day walk, but that's it. Maybe, I don't know. That's one of those things that it felt rushed. Like you were saying, Ashley, it's like, wait, now we're going to cut in his head. Like they didn't build up to that. I love your point about him being bitter that he gets turned as an old man and having to like stare at shirtless Lestat every night on tour and be like, well, okay, and like, they leaned into that. I think that would have been really great and relatable, but they didn't give us enough for me at least to buy that. Yeah, he's going to get in cahoots with Armand and cut their heads off for what reason? Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded maybe just like a few more scenes of him and Armand. We didn't have to say, oh, this is, but like that really felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yes, because they're supposed to. I'm inferring that there's supposed to be a love manipulation also going on there, right? Is mixed in there somewhere, but like I think if there were more scenes or something, like I don't know, spell it out a little bit more for me. Like
just pretend
pretend I have a brain cell, and you need to really lay it on thick.
So I want to talk about the Claudia of it all.
Ooh, yeah.
The second to last episode is my favorite episode, maybe of the series, because her fucking monologue is so. I wept through the whole thing. Like I was like, I can't believe I'm crying because I feel bad for this vampire dad that turned this girl at a very young age. But like, I felt so fucking bad for Louis. Like all the mean shit she said that Lestat
fuck Louis. Fuck. He didn't, you know what they should have done right after her dress flew in the air and she was gone? They should have contacted that person she is looking for. What's her name?
Madeline.
See, should have contacted her. They had the witch right there. They could have.
They
weren't thinking about her. Louis was only thinking about himself. Yes, and that is the least that they could have fucking done, right?
You've taken this girl's literal life, and then even the piece of her death. The bare minimum you can do versus this like revenge escapade that you're doing that really is to satisfy your own guilt. Is literally link her to the one good thing that she had gotten out of her life, which was Madeline. I loved that they finally burst Louis' bubble. I'm holding space a little bit for Lestat and just like because we're still seeing it from Lestat's perspective.
They said that in the After Dark thing. Like remember, this is Lestat's perspective. I don't know
how much of this is actually true, but I do know I remember correctly from when this sort of scene like kind of happens in the books. It's on par with what she says a bit, but Louis' bubble needed to be burst because he sees himself as this innocent person in this entire a story of Claudia's story, and it's like you didn't allow Claudia to be her full self. You used her as an accessory. You didn't have Lestat anymore. You weren't pouring into Claudia because of how much she cared about you. You didn't have anyone else, and as soon as you got someone else, the Armand of it all, she started to get pushed to the side once again. And we saw that whole scene in season 2. Picked another one over me. I'm like,
she didn't say enough, I don't think. She could have said more. And you know what? I just like production wise, Delaney was talking about doing that and how she had like done her scene and then had so much left inside of her that she's like, can we just keep going? Yeah. And they did. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like fully fucking obsessed with the way they did this and her and all of it. And she could have been meaner.
That was my favorite sequence it might have been from the entire series though. Her acting was so fucking good.
So good.
I still feel bad for Louis. You're all right.
That's fine. Sure.
I mean, it's a very interesting, like, it's an interesting dynamic. We understand he's mourning. It's just that in mourning, you also have to have some accountability of the role in which you played, especially as her parent, not just her brother. And like, I know they go back and forth with those terms, but essentially you were her parent.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you really, Louis, as you're trying to put all the onus on Lestat, did you really, really look out for her the way that you were supposed to? Because you didn't even give her Madeline until you realized, so it looked like I'm about to be living with Armand. I guess I got to give you somebody so you get out my hair. That's fucking terrible. What? That's like the equivalent of like when your parent like marries someone new and like literally think of any divorced child. Like, oh, mom remarried, so she doesn't care about me anymore. Like, the fuck?
Yeah. And for her ghost to be rightfully upset about him dragging out the diaries and the dress of a dead girl to put in books, it's all been to serve Louis, right? So yeah, she should be fucking pissed. She should be really fucking pissed. I also think like these transitions between Regina and Claudia are pretty brilliant as well. Like Delaney is really, really fucking good.
I was gonna ask about the Regina, but I didn't love that so much.
No, I loved it. And I love when she is
it.
doing her British accent, but also trying to do the Southern accent at the same time, but it like slips in. I don't know.
I just didn't understand that. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, because she's supposed to be a British woman who can't really do the Southern accent, and she's not doing a good job at it, right? And I just think it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, so the actress is British, and so she's using like her accent, and so I like that because there's sometimes with the Southern accent in season 2, I was like, okay, that's okay. But that I'm with y'all. That whole scene, I was rooting. I was crying. I was like screaming for Claudia because her whole vampiric life was against her will. She did not ask for Louis to save her, quote unquote, Lestat turning her and all that, right? Like she didn't ask for that. She was a child. And then as you age, you realizing you're stuck in a teenager's body for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
As a crutch to some man who wanted you to maybe save his marriage at the time or whatever. But it's like
he did baby trap Lestat.
Yes.
That literally was like our relationship is terrible. Let's have a kid. Like,
yes.
That's why I'm always confused when people. Let me shut up because I'll.
No, I mean, as someone with kids, I'm like, I love my spouse and stuff, but I'm like, don't fucking do it. It's a lot of work, and it's not going to save anything. But when she called Louis you dumb bitch, I was like, whoo, okay. Okay. Like it was amazing. I think that, and then when Paul shows up at the end, those might've been my favorite moments when Paul, Louis' brother, comes and is like talking to Lestat. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Those were my favorite moments.
I still wish you were a woman though. I was like, oh, okay. He had to make sure he got one last.
He's like, sometimes I do too. I really like that.
I love it.
That part made me cry when his brother is like, he can't say it, but he does love you. And I was like, oh, God, I love them.
In the after show, they say the reason why Paul is the one who can tell Lestat this is because Paul is the last person that Louis said, I love you too, or something like that. Which I also thought was like a really great, like.
Had they never said I love you, Louis and Lestat? I feel like
no, I don't think so.
My memory's been altered too because in my mind they say it every episode, beginning and the end of the episode.
In my brain, that fight in the sky that makes me cry. He's like, "Don't you love me?" And like they say it then, but I guess not.
I don't think they do. I need to. I'm on my rewatch. I haven't gotten to that episode yet, but I'll see. Yeah, I don't think they actually say. Maybe Lestat does. I know he always says, mon cher Louis, and
yeah.
I don't know if they ever say that they love each other.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, so what about Regina did you not like?
Is that in the books?
I don't think so. There's like because I didn't read past The Vampire Armand again. There's like, how many books did you say? 18.
13.
So
yeah.
From what I saw on Reddit, or as Lestat says, Reddit, there is some kind of potential story where Claudia's ghost maybe takes over somebody. It's not like this though. Louis not paying somebody to pretend to be Claudia. I just loved it because I thought it further emphasized how fucking selfish he is.
Yeah, very much so. That's the reason why I was like, he needed his bubble burst. Because I'm like, what do you mean you're paying someone to pretend to be Claudia so that you could continue to live out this fantasy of being this father that you weren't good at being in the first place? And then it really hit his head when they got community theater Madeline in there too. I was like,
no, that was fucking crazy, dude. That was wild. And I do feel bad for him. I feel bad for his grief. I do. But it's also just the dragging out the body of a dead girl to do this,
Okay, good. I'm glad you said, because I was going to say, maybe it's telling, but I still feel fucking bad for him. Of
course, why not feel bad for him? Like, that was his daughter. They did have a bond still at the end of the day, right? So, like, he would be sad. He would be missing her. And I feel the way he misses her. He has, like, held these diaries as a relic. But I think part of the truth of that also is that he knows he fucked up. prevented this and didn't.
I think for me, what's jarring with Louis and Claudia in terms of the way that Louis mourns is this, that like when someone passes and me and you, Ian, like, I
We're
think it's
pros.
but it's very easy for people to have this memory of them that is not completely of them.
Yeah.
Like it gets aggravating sometimes for me when people talk about my mom as like, this thing that, like this
Like the
idea of her.
mythological figure at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, and it's like I had to like literally tell someone in my life, I was like, I've had people sometimes use her and say like, your mother would never this and never that. And it's like, I lived with her.
Yeah.
Like you saw her, during holidays, and I don't want to
Right.
burst who she was to you, but also I got versions of her that the rest of you did not. And I say that even from the audience perspective, because we followed Claudia on some of those, even though it still was from a different perspective, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
We
got
can
versions of
still
her
piece together who she
that Louis
was.
and
Yeah.
Lestat would not allow her to be. And so that allows him to still literally put her in that dress of
Right.
hers. And he gets it instead of seeing like you put in my favorite dress, because that's how he sees Claudia. Claudia's like, Madeline made this for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
see,
she
that's
sees
the heartbreaking part.
how she sees that dress is different from the way he holds it. And it's like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
still, even in her death, will not allow yourself to see her as the full woman that
Yeah.
she was. And that's why she's coming back angry, because let's be, I love Louis and I hold space for his grief for her. But in that, you are also a parent and you have to own up to how you failed her as a parent too. And he does not
Yeah.
allow himself to do that because he wants to be the victim. Even that scene,
And
where he's there
yeah,
and he's like, what about all the things I did for you too? That snapback that he did.
exactly. Like
I
that was,
wanted
and
to
that was
reach to the screen
so
and smack him.
intentional. And it was so intentional. They were writing
Yeah.
him. They wanted us to know that he is not getting it. He is selfish. This is the way he's going. Sure, his grief is valid, but like, so is the way that Claudia's Gus is feeling. And also, freaking extending off of that, he brings Lestat out after not calling him. He got shot. He didn't call him. He's in the
Yes.
middle of doing something. That's the only time he contacts him, brings him out to go and prop him in front of this girl who looks like Claudia, doesn't really care what that might do to Lestat's grief and all of this. He's not thinking of that. He doesn't think of anybody else, So, like, I don't know.
I think
Sympathy only goes so far, I guess.
I think, and I did appreciate, not often does Lestat have the upper hand with Louis in like righteousness. That was like absolutely when he was like, you didn't even call me when I got shot. That was like 1,000%. There's no like the other side of that. It's like, no, you're supposed to love this person. You did not call them. You didn't contact them. You didn't care. I guess it's like, well, we're vampires, so I know you were fine, but like still.
And he says, I knew you would be mad about that.
Like, well, but
Correct.
I think because especially this summer, I've been like in my like depressed girl feelings of like the gay boy that's lonely, blah, blah, blah. I just kept being like, Louis is so lonely. And Lestat complains about being lonely, but is like constantly surrounded by 1,000 fucking people. And Louis has nobody. Louis has this boyfriend he clearly doesn't like that is like just like there to have. And I just kept feeling like Louis was like so sad and lonely and like grieving the loss of Lestat, even though he's still there, but he's like grieving what they had and then grieving losing Claudia. And I just kept feeling so bad for him. But we bring up a point that I wanted to talk about. I did not quite understand their relationship this season because it felt like every time they parted, they fucking hated each other. And then the next time they were just together again. The way Louis would pop in and out, while that is realistic, sometimes you have people that pop in and out of your lives. It kept feeling like, oh, now they hate each other. And then in 2 episodes, Louis was there hanging out with them and it was fine.
I didn't see it as them hating each other. It just seemed it just like some.
It felt like they didn't. I felt like I needed a little bit more clear cut on the way last season ended. I was like, oh, are they back together? And then this season they were not. And then when it was the twist, I know we are supposed to think he was texting Louis and it was like, oh, surprise, I'm fucking mommy.
Fucking hated that too, because I really loved them as Montois.
And like, I know that was on purpose, right? But I kept being like, oh, so he and Louis aren't speaking. And then I was like, well, no, they are. Well, and I just like when Lestat was like, you didn't even thank me for the custom made coffin. And he's like, well, we don't really sleep in coffins anymore. Like, I don't know. I kept not quite grasping them this season. Like I was just a little unclear on like them. And I guess that's like also part of the chaos of their relationship. But I don't know. I felt like I needed one little bit more of like what they're like. I don't know what their like relationship.
I guess I read it as like they're pissed at each other and I'm pissed at you. I need to leave the room.
But like, I feel like I still love you, but I just don't want to see your face right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think kind of our whole conversation with this season, we needed more of a lot. They needed like one more episode to really let some of these storylines breathe. I took it as in the end of season 2, Lestat's obviously like he's having a moment. He's living in that decrepit house playing a driftwood keyboard or whatever. And then now at the beginning of this season, he's got a place in Montreal. He's playing music. And then they're like maybe starting to come back together. And then Interview with the Vampire drops. And he's like, what the fuck, Louis? So I think he gets really pissed at Louis, which that's one of my favorite Lestat moments when he's in the bookstore with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
And everyone's like talking shit. And she's like, do you want to be a rewards member or something? He's like, no, thank you.
No, I do not. No, thank you.
I love
his little blow-ups are very, very charming.
But I think that's just kind of what the impetus for me with this season is. Lestat is now really angry at Louis. They've both hurt each other so many ways. They're trying like, I love you, but now I'm still mad. And then, Louis being a petty bitch by buying all the rights to his merch or whatever he does. And they have that like mediation scene, which was also one of my favorites of the whole, very specific detail to pluck out of thin air. Like, I think they're just both not being adults and they can't be like, hey, I hurt you, you hurt me, let's figure it the fuck out. They're just still like, meh, and then I think once the seance happens, once the, Lestat fucking his mom stuff comes out, they get decapitated. I think that's probably, everybody's had a reset.
I think what you just said. I love that sentence out of, after he fucks his mom, after their heads are chopped off, then they have a reset.
I mean, it's true. It's like we were talking, me and you we talked about the invite, didn't we? Yes, we had to have. You were the person I talked to about it. Yeah. I don't know. No, the invite.
No, the invite, not the invitation. Yes,
the invite. And like how at the end, the way we were interpreting it, and like for me, I think towards the end of that movie, it felt like they were deciding to hit a reset button together. And that's what this felt like. Just at that same point that you were talking about, it's like a lot of shit. We get it. It's been turbulent. There's a lot to wade through, but just right now we can hit the reset button and go through it with we can make the choice to have a little bit of a calmer head about it right now. And
I think you're also the thing that I want to, I know we could talk for fucking hours. I loved the idea, but I didn't love the end of the dinner table in the finale. Like I loved the idea of like, he's nearing death. I always love like moment where it's like all the characters are there, but it's not quite real, but maybe it is real. Like I love that shit. That always does it for me. Yeah. Like the movie Big Fish, I weep at that ending when he's dying and every character is there to say goodbye to him. I think it's like
so good.
One of the most beautiful endings to a movie ever. But I felt like we cut it short in this. Like it was like their heads are still chopped off and then whoop, we're in the bus. We're all good. Yeah. I felt like it was like, is it Arrested Development when they like would do a flashback to be like scene missing? It felt like a little bit of that. Yeah. Because I didn't feel like we had resolved the like head chopping offness of it. Like I know the Watcher guy comes in, he's like, I'm taking the head. And like and then suddenly they were in the car and like
the wrap it up sign popped up on the wall behind them and they had to figure something out in 5 minutes.
Like an agent was like, all right, they're done for the day. Let's go. And they're like, well, let's go on the bus and film that scene. Yeah, that's what really bothered me about the finale. That's why I it was like my least favorite of them. I don't know. Janet, Ashley, what did y'all think about that?
Well, I really did not like that we mostly only saw Louis decapitated. And this is where like back to like the beginning where I was like, this is why in terms of race, I did not like I think this might have went over their head a little bit of just like having a black man's head and his body and then having him branded at the end as well. I was like, maybe if like we saw Lestat's body in comparison the same amount, but instead we were given this dinner table scene knowing that Lestat's body has also been, and instead we're seeing the actual gore and body horror of it.
Yeah, I mean, his eyes moving was grotesque, right? And we see like, Lestat's head in a bag.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like, did we even see Lestat's head at any point?
No, we didn't.
I don't think we did. Yeah.
So, that's why I was like, I don't like this, not one bit. And then I tried my best to like ignore it because I know someone else's head was also decapitated. And then when they did the branding at the end, which was very unnecessary, I was like,
yeah. I know what they were trying to do. Like, you know, like we were saying earlier, Armand's still bad, but I was like, that we didn't need that. And I'm with you. I mean, I'm not a horror person really. And so that whole thing, I'm like, I don't mind gore, but it just felt unnecessary. I could watch Asad Zaman do that whole thing with the head in a bag. And like, maybe we do an up close shot on Jacob Anderson where it looks like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just some things that are so good about this show. And then some stuff like that where it's felt unnecessary.
Like I love this
on for too long.
Yeah. Like I love the scene in terms of the communication, you know, the reveal of Armand being behind it, which like I always felt when we saw Regina, I was like, this is really, I won't act like I knew Armand was behind it. I just knew like, all right, either this girl like found some old photos and put two and two together since like vampires are now kind of mainstream and there are a group of people who believe them to be real. It's like either she put two and two together and she distinctly was like, I'm going to target Louis so I can get paid, or someone somewhere like had to, I knew, because I was like, you mean to tell me somehow, some way, like 8 billion people in the world and you just knew that this girl was going to be like, so I loved the scene in the sense of what it was doing, and you know, the Louis apologizing for Armand's like trauma, not like he's at least completely behind it, but like all the things that led to him being
I could have taken that on a park bench.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like I think there was anywhere else to put it.
And hold Louis captive, I guess, without this scene of his head on a table. Like if there were different ways to go about it, especially if you were going to choose to not show us the horror of the other person who's in the exact same position. And when we finally see Lestat, of course, he's now back together again.
I also want to know how that happened. How did their heads get back on?
And then like
it's a hand wave. I don't like that.
Like, and then I'm like, is Daniel still alive? Because he like shows his fangs to the Telemasca people, and they were like, okay.
Cool.
He was
nice.
I don't know. Being silly. He was, silly.
I know. And like, the last episode was my least favorite for all these reasons. And Lestat's like, I woke up in my coffin. And later on, I found out that the details were told to me later, but I'm not going to tell you now, basically. It's like, but wait, no, we need to know. Yes, your head was in a fucking bowling bag. Like, how did it get back on your body? I don't know. It just...
And do we know why they cared about the head? Do we know that?
No,
because
I don't think so.
Because I was like, I feel like I missed something. Why do they care about Lestat?
Well, I guess Raglan James says that the Talamasca wants the Great Conversion because of like climate change and population control. So that's why they wanted to get Lestat's head back on his body so they could have this concert with all the vampires that they could maybe take out, ? It was unclear to me, but he does make comments about how they're pro as Gabriella would say, the Great Conversion, right? That
was good. That was good.
That was you sounded better than she did.
So, but they rushed it. I loved, I don't know. I feel like I'm just harping on all the things I didn't like. I loved the music. I loved the rock star aspect of it all. The vampire, tough cookie, great. Love her. Salamander, hysterical. All that stuff was great. But this last episode really was just like, ooh, there's so much to.
Well, and I think that point that you made that is like, they say all of these things, but all of these things are said in such passing that it doesn't feel like they are being set up like as a plot point, right? Like there's not an actual conversation devoted to these things. It is a quick mention. And then they're talking about, But and it's half the time I can't even remember what Lestat and Gabriella ever talked about. I can just picture them saying things to each other, but I have no idea what the fuck they talked about ever.
Zach, I feel like that's how I watch most of the show, where I'm like, I don't know.
They just made a lot of passing references about the Great Conversion and then like the people around them, and
Wait, also,
that was the majority of what they were talking
I
about.
had a question. I understood the drummer was someone he turned, but didn't he turn the whole band?
No.
I thought it was they all wanted to be turned.
They did. He turns Tough Cookie, TC, the drummer. Mm-hmm. Gabriella turns Alex, the guy with the who wears the Dracula mask. And then Sam, who's like the producer, he turns Salamander, the bassist.
And then which was that? Was that the dude from Schitt's Creek, Salamander?
No, the dude from Schitt's Creek was the other guitarist who Armand makes jump in front of the train, right? Wait.
Yes, I think you're right. Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
No, Salamander's the guy who's like, he's got like a beard. He's like the stoner. He's like getting a blowjob in the background of one scene. He's actually the music director, I think, for the show.
Oh, that was a little unclear to me because I did like the beat of them being like, we want to be vampires. And he's like, I actually like you guys. I don't want to turn you into I liked the idea because for the most part, it feels like Lestat tolerates people, right? Louis, he like loves, but they still also hate each other. But like everyone else, he kind of tolerates. And I was like, ooh, I wanted to sit with that beat a little bit of Lestat being like, no, I actually do like you guys.
Yeah.
And this sucks being a vampire, so I don't want to turn you into... I thought that was like a oddly, but still made sense, like more human moment for Lestat that we don't get a lot, where he's like...
I really like that too.
Saying he likes, like even him just being like, I like this person. Outside of like Louis and his mom, he doesn't say he cares about anybody. So I thought that was like I was like, I wish we got a little bit more of him with them. Because I would have thought he'd be like, I hate you guys and I don't want to be with you longer than I have to be if I turn you into a vampire. So yeah, I don't know. That was like an interesting beat for me that I almost wish we had sat with just a little bit more.
And I feel like they tried to do that with bringing back Antoinette, Justice for Antoinette from the second season, where he was like, hey, she was all right. Like y'all are being, she got a rough edit or whatever he says about the book. And I think I'm with you. I wanted more of that. I think we were really they're trying to show that, hey, the Lestat you saw in seasons 1 and 2, there's a fuller picture. But yeah, I like that soft side of him because, he does say something about Antoinette, like, hey, you guys were a little harsh. She's fine.
But then I like that even when he sees her at the dinner scene and he's like, Antoinette, she's like, shut the fuck up. Like, she does not want him to talk to her.
No time. That 9-fingered bitch, Antoinette.
All right. Well, I know we could keep going forever, so I'm just gonna close out. Jen, you said you wanted to talk. Go ahead. I couldn't tell you any of the songs. I know you said you wanted to talk about what your favorite song was.
I love a musical. I'm a musical girly. Like Once More with Feeling is on my Spotify Wrapped, like topped every year. I love musicals and I loved the music in this show. Was it perfect? No, but I just thought it was so cool. And I love that they joke about Longface, the song Sucking. Like, yes, that song sucks. We're not playing it. I thought that Brutal Love, the song he sings to Louis, is a great song and very well performed. Like Sam Reed, I tried to go to that concert they did in New York. I don't know if you guys saw that. I sure didn't get picked. That's fine. It was like they were trying to get people to come to this concert that they filmed. I think it's going to be on YouTube. Sam Reed as Lestat performed. It was after they had filmed everything, whatever. I think the title song is really good. All Fall Down. Like I was listening to that when I was setting up today. Like
I like that one. Yeah.
It is good.
I like Butterscotch Bitch, Big Boss. Like, I don't know. I feel like Sam Reed sold it. He was the, with the pigtails and the messy makeup and the rock star persona. I loved it. I just really, really loved that aspect of the season.
Stained Glass Eyes was really great, but I wanted to hear the version with all the instrumentals in the background that they played like just a second of at the end.
Yeah. So, I think it's all on Spotify now. I think they dropped it. Yeah.
I like the one he did with, like he sung to Claudia. She was on the other. Like,
Stained Glass Eyes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was such a good title because in terms of the difference between her and Regine was like the eyes that she has as a vampire. Yeah. So as you can tell, obviously Claudia is one of my favorite.
Oh, amazing. And the way Delaney like plays
Yeah, did such
Regina
a
and
phenomenal.
Claudia's like constantly like wide-eyed
Yeah.
staring, and it's super creepy to just like have a real close-up look at her. And Regina is a lot softer, but she's like real smart, and you can see how smart she is like on her face,
Right.
right?
And you can tell that this is someone who's old enough to work and that Claudia still has this like
Hmm.
was turned at 13. Well, no, in the
Yeah.
books it's like 7, right?
Yeah,
He,
it's
She's
I mean, I
5 in
think
the
it might even be
books.
yeah, it's like 5 years old or something.
but I
That
think yeah, they changed it for the show. But like even for show purposes, she was changed. She was turned much younger. And here's someone with some life experience who
Hmm.
is just like, I need some money. I don't mind fucking over these men.
And 500,000. So was it just 500,000, or did you think she got more than that? Like,
Oh, I
was it
think she
per
easily made
date
a million. I
or?
think she made a million.
Hey,
yeah.
good for her, man.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
Love
not mad
that.
at it. If
Yeah.
like this man, but I was like, Louis very clearly has a mental illness. I'm like, you mean to tell me there are vampire lawyers, but no vampire therapists? He needs one desperately,
He immediately.
desperately. Like, of course, I was rooting for the whole him going after Killer. Like, yeah, like of course, I want
Yeah.
the person who assaulted Claudia to be killed. But it's also like you can tell he's doing it thinking Claudia's in heaven. Like, yeah, daddy, go. And it's like,
Thank you.
hey, after you like light him on fire, you need to join him. How like
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. She's like, oh, did you think I would thank you? Like, she just gave him the fucking business, and I loved
She
it.
said it. She said, "Burn the diaries, burn the dress." And you know what he did not do is burn the diaries and burn the
oh,
dress.
absolutely not, because he has to still continue his fantasy, and doing
Yeah.
that would mean he can't do that. So
Mhm.
Speaking of Regina, though, I fantasized. I was like, God, if someone was like, "I'll pay you $500,000 to protect,"
Right.
I would be like, "Yes, great. I would love to
And he
do
was so
this."
although
weird about it too,
to
though.
be
Like when
honest,
he like kind of
Yeah.
froze her and touched her hand, he could have done that when she was present. Like he's paying her $500,000. I'm sure if he said, "Hey, can I hold your hand for a second?" she'd be like, "Okay, I guess, fine." It's just he was
Oof.
fucking weird about the whole thing.
But I mean, we
Yeah.
keep going back to the Madeline of it all. Like, if you really did love her and you really aren't thinking only of yourself, the witch is right there. We know you have money. Give her, some more
I
salt or
wonder if
whatever.
we'll go back to that since they did the thing of like, oh, Claudia's ghost got out. But I think Ashley, to your point, Louis could not think of her as anything other than a child. And it was
Yeah.
like, granted, I still feel so bad for Louis, but it was more like, this is making me feel good. So she's always a little child. That's it.
it
Even though it's like,
literally
this is
it
an adult.
reminded me of people who literally are like, because when I was a kid and I had no business, but I used to watch Maury anytime I got sick and had to stay at the house.
Oh, same.
Of
And like,
course.
unfortunately, you meet the worst people on Maury, and they would like, I want this child, so I have someone to love me. And
Yeah.
We are
that's
all
like,
entitled for compensation for watching that show.
yes. And like that's who Louis reminded me of. You had Claudia to make yourself happy, and so therefore the idea of that she is her own person, and
Is
like,
like,
because like you didn't go to this witch like, look, Claudia probably miserable as fuck. And like in his head, even to go back to like the killer scene of him killing Killer, it was like he's doing this thinking that there's some spiritual Claudia someplace just rooting for him and like, yeah,
yeah.
daddy, get him. And it's like, you didn't even think of, can you please check on Claudia, see if she's happy, and if there's something that
She
we can
couldn't
do
even make it to
for her.
dinner. She's
No.
out searching for Madeline.
And it's like,
Go ahead. No, sorry.
oh no,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, your only focus, instead of trying to get some affirmation from your spiritual daughter, should have been, what can we do? Where's Madeline at? The next thing
Yeah.
should have been on to like, Madeline, Claudia's looking for you. How do we connect the two of you? And that still would have meant you caring about Claudia's happiness, which the running theme is that you didn't. You cared about Claudia making you happy, and in your head, if she's making you happy, then she must be happy too.
Right.
Stupid bitch.
And the after dark of that, they said that they originally wrote Claudia in the dinner scene, and they felt it was more powerful to not have her in that
Which
dinner
I
scene.
agree with. I do
I
agree.
agree.
I would have loved to see her again, but I do agree it is more to be like, she didn't want to come.
Well, I mean,
Like,
that's sort of
She
like
said what she needed to said.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah,
off.
and it was that's all she needed to say. I do want them to continue to have this actress be like a regular part of this show.
She's
So
so
however
good,
they
yeah.
need to do that,
She's
I don't
amazing.
care, and I will suspend disbelief for whatever I need to make sure she's part of it.
because
I
she's
mean,
like,
I would, yeah.
she's like actually an adult, right? Like she's like in her 20s, I think.
Yeah,
It's not
she's
like, right.
You
Well,
think she's 12?
yeah, but I mean, like, she's not like 17, so she's gonna like get older,
No,
like
I think
get
she's
taller
like
or whatever.
22, 23,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I would love for them to even just do, which I thought they were going to go the route that they did with Lestat last season of kind of having her haunt one of them or
yes.
both. I thought that's sort of what they were foreshadowing in her monologue in season 2 before her death, where she's looking around and she's like, I want to make sure I see everyone's face. If there's an afterlife, I'm
Oh God.
and
That was
chills.
And if there's a way, I'm gonna still find a way. And I really thought that was foreshadowing her coming back in these different versions. And I mean, in a way, it's kind of like great to see that actually all she did was get to the other side. It was like, where's Madeline? But then of course it's still sad that like she hasn't found.
Right.
But yeah, if they can do that, if they get to a point of like, if I can't find Madeline, y'all done broke this barrier now between me and the real world. So now I'm coming back every couple of days just to say fuck you or something like that.
Yeah, so now I'm here to tell you you're a piece of shit.
And I want to make
day.
a point because I've seen people get real mad about this. And it's like, oh, well, they can't conjure Madeline because they don't have anything of Madeline's. Madeline made the dress. The dress was made by Madeline.
She
so they
touched
can
it.
do that. Yes.
I didn't even think about
Maybe
that.
that's what they're leaving open for season 4 because they show the ghost like breaking the salt circle. So maybe she's found a way to.
Maybe it's Madeline. Madeline destroyed the world.
Fuck with everybody.
The only weird thing about the dinner and Claudia not being there was, which I like, but I was like, wait, so is this not a dream? Is this not all in his head then? Like, I was a little bit like, and I kind of like it, but I do wish I could have landed one way or the other, and I really could not land. Because until they said that, I was like, oh, this is like, he's delirious because he's dying. This is all in his head. But then I was like, well, no, but Ghost Claudia would be there if he was delirious and this was all in his head. Right?
Or not. I don't know. Like if he's having guilty feelings, sometimes your guilt makes you kind of displace yourself from the thing that you did to be guilty about.
True.
Like I think the way that he interacts with everyone else, it seems to be a bit of like a little bit of delusion in his role in art and stuff. And with Claudia, I think, not to say he's not delusional, but unlike Louis, he hasn't gone off the deep end. That's the reason why when that whole scene with Claudia's ghost starts and Claudia's already about to get into their ass, but it's really, she thought she was talking to Louis, but she was looking at Lestat. Lestat's like, no, Louis over there. He did it. So it's like, I think maybe he is, I mean, and of course, obviously for him, it's a little bit easier to acknowledge his role in it because he was, part in the trial and stuff like that. So to Zach's point, I'm like, I think maybe it's like, yeah, I can't sit here and act like we're all going to have warm feelings if Claudia is. So,
All right. So closing out, what did favorite episode or scene? I mean, for me, my favorite scene was the Claudia ghost scene because she is such a fucking good actor, and I was crying and I felt so bad for everybody and made me feel a lot of feelings. Ashley, either episode, scene, just anything.
You can't remember which episode it was, but obviously it's the scene that is in everyone's heads of Akasha's monologue. I mean, to be honest, Claudia's was my favorite, but since that one, like, I want to make sure we have a good diversity, I would say Akasha's is right, after that, which love the fact that my two favorite scenes were Black women in the focus. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I definitely thought this show was gonna end with the big concert and Akasha like rising up. I definitely thought
it should have.
I'm upset. And I after that scene, I was really preparing myself like, oh, when she gets back up,
yes,
it's gonna be like, I was really preparing myself for that. I'm so upset that was the last scene that we got of her. But it was such, I mean, that was every season of Interview with the Vampire or Vampire Lestat like gets a TikTok sound, and it's, I heard your heart's dancing. And so getting this one for this season when it actually supposed to be focused on Lestat, I just think kind of shows how much she can steal a scene.
I've seen it on tattoos.
Yeah. Like we about to, So it's I'm excited for her to really be able to get more scenes, but that was my favorite of this one.
Yeah.
Jen?
I have to say it's tough. Claudia for sure, but I think my favorite is that whole sequence with Akasha and Lestat having that like New Year's Eve party with like Armand's the moldy bread and there's like cabbage heads and he's like, saying scoop.
You're
like,
supposed to change the music, Armand.
And then her the way Sheila Tim's mouth is moving when she's like, and why is this and why is that? It's so compelling. Like I don't think I blinked that entire time she's up and she's doing that. She's amazing. Like I agree with Ashley. I cannot wait to see her in a more lead role in a season. I really hope that happens. I would say it's probably between that scene Claudia, and I'm picking 3 because I'm crazy. And the mediation scene where Lestat is like fully crashing out in front of Louis, and Louis is just like, yeah, I'm cool, we're chill. And the very specific detail to pluck out of thin air, the way he delivers that line is just so good.
When he's like slouched in his chair and he's like with the glasses on, like I feel like that image has been in my head of Lestat being like a petty bitch baby, and I'm like,
when he takes him off and he's like, I bet.
I bet.
Zach.
Oh goodness. Well, I can't pick Akasha now because we gotta split it up a little bit. No, I'm not going to.
It's so good. She's so good.
I've just been so excited to see another depiction of Akasha because like all of us have only ever had Alias in our minds, and so so we'll say that one, but I'll say something else just for, what you already said, Claudia. So what the fuck am I supposed to pick?
It's okay. You're allowed.
All of Delaney's scenes that she ever did in this season, we're going to go with all those because I just think the women did the work this season.
What grade do we give this season? This is going to sound bad, but I think talking to y'all, maybe this wasn't my favorite season. Maybe it's just the season I watched.
Let it be your favorite season. Why not?
I don't know. Cause I feel like I like agreed with the critiques everybody had, and I'm like, maybe.
I think given what you said you like about in terms of like not a period piece, it makes sense that it's like it's your favorite. I think it's still a very good season. Yeah. I think
it's great.
They did the change in voice really well. I think just they have to still remember, even though some characters are now side characters, you can't follow you still race bent some characters, and that's fine, but that does mean you have to now add some context to certain scenes that are from the book that you wouldn't do the same way. That's it. You can't just drop it now because the lead actor is white. That's it. But like overall, I think what they did with the voice and everything like that and the change in direction was absolutely great.
All right,
and Sam Reed is amazing.
Phenomenal.
He just kills it. He is Lestat. I think it's a brilliant performance, and yeah, I think my favorite season, I think, is still season 1, because I think Jacob Anderson, it's a crime that he hasn't been nominated for more things. I think he's fucking amazing. So, but this season, like seeing Sam Reed, you're like, oh shit, like that could wipe away any negative, almost any negative stuff, I would have to say, because he does do a good job. But yeah, I just hope they can get another season and pick up some of these threads and give those other characters, hey, they're still important. Like you're saying, Ashley, like let's not just fully, okay, we're over here now. So
Dr. Smalls, what's the grade?
B, maybe B plus. I'll add the plus just because I love the actors and what they do with these characters. And I think that despite my feelings towards maybe the script, they thankfully can take these characters and run with it. So I'll give it a B plus. Like I give the first 2 seasons probably a solid A minus. So I would give this probably a B plus then.
Jen?
I'm going to give it an A minus, I would say. I think what the good is so good. Delaney, Sam Reed, Jacob Anderson, all those guys, they're so good. But seasons 1 and 2 are like A plus. I have barely any notes, but I still love this enough to, give it an A minus.
Zach?
We'll go with A minus because I do think the rewatchability factor is there for me. Like was more critical watching it the first time around, of course, but I think, I don't know, I'm gonna have to watch all 3 back to back. Now
I do kind of want to do that. Yeah, now I want to watch them all. Yeah, I think A. I think I go with A because I loved it. Even
A for Armand.
I feel like I had more critiques than I thought I would. Than I even wrote down on my little outline, but like I still loved it. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can also watch our recordings on our YouTube channel because all of our episodes are video recordings. And if you want to support us on Patreon, we go through every episode of Buffy as it turns 25. We'll be going into season 6 soon. Oof. Also have X-Men the Animated Series, the OG one, and Batman the Animated Series, and random other things we're covering. Any and all support is much appreciated. If you want to follow us on social, we're at SlayerFestX98. If you want to follow me, I'm at IanXCarlos. Ashley, where can everyone find you?
Ashley K. Smalls on all socials. If you want to yell at me, like I say all the time, follow me on Twitter. And if you like what I have to say, you can follow me everywhere else.
And Jen?
You can find me at Jen with 3 N's, Katz on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Threads sometimes, but yeah. Instagram, not Twitter, sorry. On Instagram, TikTok, and Threads.
And Zachary?
Oh, poor Twitter. Patreon.com/AZB+.
And Zach and I do a sex relationship show called My Nudie Judy that goes on both our Patreons. So you can find them both there.
We're trying to figure out what we're going to do this time. Maybe we'll try caging.
Cool. I feel like it's like, okay, for me, whatever. You're the one that's married, so it'll be an issue.
I know.
We will see you next time, and let us know what you thought of the show. And I'm thinking of maybe covering, if and when season 4 comes out, episode by episode coverage of that. Let me know if you'd be interested. And
I'm interested.
Oh, don't worry. The 3 of you will be bullied consistently if I do cover it to be coming on for it. But we will see you next time. And we're covering X-Men 97 still. So that's still coming. And yeah, talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.